Hello, this is Callie Kekua Weaver. Kind of had a name change recently. This is Thoughts at Midnight Talk Show with your co-host
Alexander Hodge.
and an editor.
Kevin Gellinger.
Today we are going to be discussing a variety of topics, including but not limited to relationships, healthy relationships versus unhealthy relationships. We're going to be talking about a whole
We got
bunch
a
of
lot of things. We got a lot of things coming our way as well. So we got 4th of July was yesterday. Happy birthday, USA! Let's go! And I'll tell you what, as America, so far so good. Let's see if we can bring it back around. 2021 is coming around. We got and this year we're gonna end it with a bang. We're gonna get people working. We're gonna get people back making money. We're gonna start making it in the world again. So not make America great again. Sorry, make it in the world again. All right. So one of the ways, Callie, I mean, it's like we were talking about this earlier. One of the ways that I can tell if someone's when it comes to relationships and finding out who who is really in it for us as like family, friends, an actual relationship where it's not like we're solely gripping ourselves to death, you know what I'm saying? Where we're not like solely gripping each other to death over time, right? One of the ways we can tell, the main blueprint that I go by is this other person genuinely sad when things have fucked up, when things have messed up, or they know that I've been through something not so good, right? Are they genuinely hurt by it as well? And do they take measures to, can they empathize? Like, I mean, are they really in it, for the growth and the out of that? And I think when it comes to relationships with a girlfriend, my cousin, I've noticed that well, I'm not gonna, she knows what he's been through, right? She knows what he's been through. She knows. My hope is with relationships that they know what I've been through as well, that I can open up to them about they get to know me, but they're not like secretly happy or competitive that they're winning over me, with that trauma. That's one of the ways I can tell if someone's a real friend or not. Now, on the opposite end, if they're actually are like kind of glad I fucked up and they're laughing about, you know what I'm saying? They're not really in it for you. So that's one of the ways that you can distinguish between the two.
She raised her hand.
Yes. What's up, Callie?
So, the thing, you were talking about relationships and stuff, but I also want to point out that, friendships too. Like, you look at yours and my friendship, you look at mine and Kaz's friendship.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, Alex. We have conversations, we back each other up, we support each other, we have that reciprocation, we treat each other the same. Like, we when one of us doesn't do well, the other one's like, "Sorry, what can we do to bring you back up?"
Yep. And also, I like it when, Callie, I know you well enough where I can actually metaphorically whack you on the back of the head when you're screwing up. I can metaphorically do that with you. I'm like, I can just give you a smack where it's like, all right, Callie, wake up, And I like how you do the same for me, and you will waken me up for some things as well. So when somebody can do that, I got a buddy of mine, Justin, that is capable of doing that. Sometimes he can just say something that just gives me a whack in the across the little hit in the back of the head to say, Alex, that was a little dark. Like cool it, you know. One of the ways that he used to do that is that he would go ding and he'd take a mental shot every time like I would say something along those lines. One of the things that I would say about genetics. Having poor genetics. Oh, I got this guy because of these, look at that guy. Poor genetics. Don't have kids. And he would go, ding, yeah, see, even Callie, even you kind of whack me on the back of the head when I say shit like that. Kenny goes, ding, mental shot. Come on, Alex. I know, because it's like you got to eliminate that from your thought process because people can still make it, And I like that. It's appreciated later. I mean, it's appreciated once I see it for what it is. And it's appreciated. So friends can also kind of give each other a little whack on the head when they're like. That's how you could tell if you got a friend who is up on the growth scale.
Or
If they're
supportive.
and they're up on the growth scale, because then they will. If you're kind of average is coming down, if you're kind of saying and you're getting kind of out of whack, they can give you a little smack on the back of the head and bring you back up. It'll awaken your attention to your own behavior, and you like, yeah.
My fiance did that to me once before we were even dating. There was a friend that I had grown feelings for. Was actually my best friend at the time. She was amazing. And she left, and I was crushed. I was utterly crushed. And my fiance, his words were, get up, dust yourself off, and keep going. Get up and dust yourself off.
And I say the same thing.
Into the reality
Keep
of it.
going.
Yep, you've got a true relationship there.
For too long. And got me back into the swing of things, and that's what friends are for. They're there to snap you back to reality sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. That's what friendships are about.
Yeah.
And yeah, it might hurt, but they're not doing it intentionally to hurt. They're doing it so like, yeah.
So
don't be so down and
intention
dumps.
Spiral us both upwards. Like,
yeah, with the way I I receive that kind of, get up, dust yourself off, you got this. Or even just a sudden, like, stop, whack in the back of the head, stop. I take that and I'm grateful for it, even when it's in the moment. Whether I've realized it or not, I'm grateful for it because I know that there's a reason somebody said that.
Yep.
I'm always grateful for it.
No, oh, thank God.
I'm always grateful.
Because in the back of your mind, you're like, thank God that happened. Somebody actually mentioned that to me. It's like, thank God that happened.
Yeah, Kevin wasn't as like that. Neither Jacob was more compared to Jacob, but Kevin, he was completely different.
Yeah, those are friends that Kev had, for the audience who's not aware of, backgrounds.
Okay.
But,
okay. Cool.
Yeah. Because they would only come over when they could. I never really text or call people.
That's awesome.
I'm so secluded.
That's another way to tell if they're really good friends.
That's the other thing about friendships is not just there to give you a healthy friendships. I mean, it's not just there to give you a smack on the back of the head. I mean, Kev has a background where, he wasn't really involved in a bunch of activities from friends and stuff. He was more to himself, more in his room. And I want to give a shout out to him because look at him now. He is on camera doing this podcast. And that's because me and Alex both have been able to raise that enough that he feels comfortable speaking. That
basically
is a
better support group. I need a better support group.
Absolutely.
Than Kevin and Jacob were.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the more you do that, that's exploratory behavior. So that's more exploratory. Then you can branch out to new connections that some might not be good, some might be good. There's always a risk.
Yeah.
But then you learn how to branch out and kind of explore into new friendship. I just got out of a meeting this morning and I found out he's an awesome dude. I didn't know him very well before, but he worked with me He's like almost like the handyman for the area. He always call him like the Scotty of Menard's Starship Enterprise. He is Scotty. Beam me up, Scotty. So
Oh, Star
he's
Trek.
literally the engineer of the Star. Right. So another that we branched out to each other as a new connection, and he invited me, like, after we got to know each other a little bit and we talked, and we invited, like, open arms, new member of the family kind of shit. Like, I'm like, whoa, holy cow, this is awesome. And that was reassuring to me that I can, not for one, that I can do this. I can branch out to somebody and they can branch out to me as well, and we can receive it. And it's a new connection. It's an extra. He welcomed me in like family. He even said the word family. Like you're like something. You're like a family to me now. Like, that was
Anyone's my family.
So,
They're always welcome.
because
Yeah.
Callie knows. I want to mention this to the audience. Callie knows that. I and my mom and dad, I think they know this too. Where I know they're not. My old family is getting old, and they're not going to be around forever. I'm
Neither is
aware.
my mom. She's 65.
So that skill set of branching out to explore into other, like, members of a made family that we can create for ourselves, it's very reassuring.
absolutely. I mean, one of the things I've actually been doing that a lot myself. I have found that the connections that I made with friends in the past, I have made a good impression. Always called their parents sir, ma'am. I made that good impression. I've got those families, that are that are wanting to, they want me to come in. They want me to be a part of it. And it's really nice to be able to branch out and get that support. My fiance, like, his family is now my family. I mean, they've accepted me completely.
And that comes from a
You're
good.
still part of my family.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Just like Ellie.
I think where that comes from, that skill comes from, is a good blueprint of, like, manners, etiquette, work ethic. And so then when you do get pissed off or angry, they can come in and help you out there, or when you get sad or something fails or whatever, you already have that blueprint of character where it's positive. Like, they already know this. So, and a good friend knows that everybody's human.
Yeah, we're all human.
Everybody's got a vulnerability. Everybody.
Everyone has some sort of weakness.
So, yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sorry, a little bit of technical difficulties here.
Yo,
Much better.
better be like.
And fireworks go off.
What's really interesting about that, about speech and God and the logos, is that speech is creative, and we're created in the image of God. When God speaks, it creates things. When we speak, we articulate things. There's a similarity there. That's quite fascinating.
So with Kev, definitely with being able to open up and being able to talk, being able to be on this podcast, which me and Alex love having him on here. We love it.
It's gone better compared to Kevin and Jacob.
That branching out, this is going to lead to a lot of new opportunities. It really is. That's exciting.
I met some new people too.
Awesome, Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Tyson and
Oh, through Tyson. Okay. Yeah.
It's nice to meet people who share those interests. Kevin never brought any of his other friends over, and neither did Jacob. It was just them two every once in a while, or just Kevin all the time, and no other friend.
Yeah. Yeah, but this
Wow.
branching out, it's really good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think with that, I've Tyson mentioned to me some time ago something called the 6 degrees of separation. I don't know exactly. I haven't got a master on what exactly it is, but for every 6 people that we meet and branch out with, then they branch out to 12 people, and then it increases exponentially, right?
Mhm.
So with that, when I'm speaking to you, you're also probably talked about to your staff about me, and that level of trust has been built, and their staff probably mentioned me to other people. So it's called 6 degrees of separation. So with that, I'm very aware of that. So what I do and say matters. Everything I say and do matters because I understand that somebody's going to be listening.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's going to be listening. There's going to be some connection somewhere, right? And what's really cool with technology is that it can be from any part of the world.
Yeah. Like how I met Michael Pitts from Germany when I was in severe depression in middle school.
Yeah.
Saved my life. I haven't talked to him in so many years, but I still have him on a PlayStation. I just keep forgetting to add his Facebooks, and he used to tell me how his place would flood all the time and he had to get the water out because
Yeah.
he lived in the stone
Oh,
house.
okay.
Yeah.
So that's like somehow somebody heard about you, Kevin, and they connected with you, you know?
We met, I
Where would you
think,
say
through
he's
a
from? Germany?
Yahoo group chat.
Where'd you say he was from again?
Decades. Yahoo group chat through
Where
the
was he from? Where does he live?
I
That
forgot where in Germany, but
Germany.
I
Okay.
know he's blonde, short haired, skinny, and muscular. He also works for a
Cali. I'll be good.
Pepsi company and bottles. I know that about him.
Callie, you knew where my mind was going with that one. But I'll be good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. Your mind was going there, and mine wasn't even going there. Wow, Alex. Wow.
Yeah. I'm. Yeah.
The blonde hair, blue eyed soldier boy, huh? Okay.
Yep.
Oh, and of
Sure.
Germany, of all places. You see where I'm going? Okay, I'm not
Yep.
gonna say anymore.
Well, I'm part German, so yeah, I do like sausages and
Yeah.
Ja, du best sprechen Sie Deutsch?
yeah.
Ich spreche am besten Deutsch.
I didn't know how to speak
A little bit.
German,
I would understand
but
that.
I do somewhat can pronounce some German if I read it out because I still have that hair in my throat like they have. How they speak is
Yeah.
like having a
I might be
hairball in
bombing.
your mouth.
Gotcha. I might be bombing the grammar by saying this phrase, but nein, Sie nicht sprechen Sie Deutsch. I may be bombing the hell out of the grammar, but
No, I
otherwise,
do not
you
speak
not speak
German.
German or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I may be again. I may be bombing the grammar. So please, in the comment sections, anyone who's in Germany,
Wow.
correct me.
Yeah.
I-
Translators.
How do you say? No, I guess you don't speak in German or something like that. Yeah, what's up, Callie?
It turns out my biological last name is actually originated in Germany.
Oh, okay, Cox.
Yep.
No, my biological last name. I probably
Oh.
shouldn't share it right now.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's really
We're
exciting.
also Irish too.
But you know what's weird? They did a background test, ethnicity test. No German in there.
Huh. Okay.
Everyone's born with different genetics from
I
their
took,
ancestors.
23andMe test. I don't know the accuracy
But
of it, but I took a 23andMe
biological.
test. Oh, I took a 23andMe test, and they found no Irish.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it said 0% Irish, Ireland.
Andy in my family
like-
has an
like-
orange beard. Yeah, he was born with it. He grows out an orange beard, and
Oh, that is so ZZ Top. That is so
Yeah.
ZZ Top.
yeah, Andy has it. It's cool to see him with a bald headed and ginger like beard.
For those of you who don't know who ZZ Top is, come
I
on.
know
now.
who ZZ
Yeah.
Top is.
Oh man.
No,
There they are.
you know, it actually turns out I have a small percentage of African in me too.
Honestly, I can kind of see that a little bit because of the there they are.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what Andy's hair be like.
Oh
If he
hell yeah.
grew it out long enough.
Oh yeah. So I had found 72% Switzerland. So 72% of my ancestry was from Switzerland. And maybe that's why I have an affinity for the German and Austrian girls. I don't know, but
Things that
got a bit of an
Germans
affinity.
love their beer too.
Yeah, that's something kind of cool.
Beer fest in
So
Germany.
I have Irish in me, Ireland. I have quite a bit. But it turns out the ethnicities I have cause my I don't know, family to say that most of my ethnicity could have potentially come from slaves.
From where?
Slaves from different countries.
Slaves.
Just like Native Americans
slaves.
used to
Oh,
be
slaves.
slaves and murdered.
So my background was a lot consists of slaves. And the cool thing is my fiance's background came from the owners of slaves. So it was really weird.
Oh,
Yep.
oh my God.
Hitler.
I know where you're going with that. I get it. The whole Dom stuff
Wolfenstein.
kind of shit. I get it.
No wonder, huh?
That explains a lot.
Hey, it's DNA.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and I have an interesting theory about that as to why, with my relationship to, I'm not going to mention her by name, but actually, no, I might as well, right? She's part of the group. She's been a guest on here before, too. My relationship to Christine went so well at the time, a few years back, was probably because Christine has a lot of German ancestry within her, right? I have a theory about this because when I found out I have like 72% Switzerland, as to why chemistry works for some people and it really doesn't for others. I think there's an ancestral element to this.
That's what I think. So.
That's geopolitical as well. So, I mean, imagine it. We got people from thousands of years ago in areas of Germany and areas of Switzerland, probably bonded very well. They probably got together, kids. They had like an ancestral link between Germany and Switzerland and Austria. And these different nations, as to why I had such chemistry for Christine, because a lot of her DNA, a lot of her ancestral was from Germany, and then mine turns out to be from Switzerland. It makes sense. So
what's your DNA background like? Do you know?
I never took a DNA test.
Well, if you had to guess, what would you think?
Well, sometimes I know Native Americans can also be black too. I know that.
But what about you? Deep inside you, do you have
if
any
you were to take
idea
a
about
guess,
your origins? Like German? You said you have some German in you.
I have German, Irish, Native American. Man, Our family history is so. Because I know the Gillingers are a mix of multiple things, but
Yeah.
I can't really figure it. I just know by what I'm told in The Sims.
Kind of funny. Kind of funny because my mom calls me a mutt because of how spread out my backgrounds are.
I like it. That's interesting to me.
I'll
Even
tell you
mine's
this.
so spread.
I'll tell you this. I am so white that I'm not even Irish.
The only reason why I'm white is because I never get out of the house. I really need to tan and get a farmer's tan on me. Be better for my
You
skin.
guys are over here talking about being super white, and I'm like, thanks to the little bit of African I have in me.
Well,
Well,
I
Hawaiians have
this.
darker skin tones too.
I wanted to bring this up.
Natives.
Ancestry, because this is a picture of my birth father when he was younger.
Yeah,
So that,
I see a resemblance.
yeah.
I know why. I just thought.
He never. I don't think he ever shook the weight. You know, he never really shook that. But
Yeah.
and
That's
my
a-
birth mother said that he's got a bit of Native American in him. I think he said Cherokee.
Yeah, I definitely see.
Yeah, certain tribes.
So that means I have a bit of Cherokee in me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what tribe I'm from. I
guess that's
never
right.
really searched it up.
I guess that explains why those EVP shielding medallions and those dream killers work so well on me. Kind of makes sense.
I think I like dream catchers. I love them. I want to get me one. I never had one in my room.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Need to
Kevin,
get
I
one.
know exactly where to get one too, and some good ones. There's a shop at the mall. I forget what it's called, but
Well, remember, we aren't in the same town you're in.
I know. I'm trying to think of the name
I'm
of it.
used to Kokomo, Lafayette, and Indianapolis. I've been through Delphi, but that's before they tore that railroad road out. When
Gotcha.
I was a young kid and a little bit of a teenager and replaced it with the Hoosier Highway. We had to go through bumpy roads and we used to go to the back of the town. And oh, I miss those days.
So, there's something that I kind of want to bring up to the audience. This is kind of a small change of topic. So this is a bit of a, this is a bit of a help thing for people who are struggling with things that, I've been through. So when I was younger, I was really unruly and chaotic. And I thought that there was, I kept trying to find an escape from, situations that I've been in that sometimes I caused, but sometimes I didn't. And I want people to know that, there is always a light to the end of the tunnel. There's always a light to the end of the tunnel. Just keep pushing on, keep moving forward, and you'll get there.
Yes, Clementine. Keep moving.
There's a famous quote: "When you're going through hell, keep going."
Yeah.
Because
I'm
eventually
used to that.
you're going to get
every
out.
day.
So that's where I find persistence. When persistence is a good thing.
Yeah,
Mm,
my mom always told me never give up, and I'm glad I have friends that say the same thing
absolutely.
compared to Kevin.
Hell, there's figures in history that say that. Powerful figures in history who say that when you're going through
Yeah.
hell, going. I forget who quoted that one.
Yeah,
But there will always be a light
and the reason,
into that tunnel.
and the reason being because what happens when you stop in hell?
You stay there.
And I've been through so much. Technically, I have. Technically,
And
I shouldn't be alive right now.
hell, and you can get once you get through hell, but you also can get out, know to get out of it. I guess metaphorically speaking, you can kind of go back into the roots of your own shadow and your own hell to rediscover new things about you and other people. So when you're at the point where you're out of hell for so long, you've made it. You know, you've already been through the trauma on the ship. Where then sometimes you can actually voluntarily, by the way, hopefully voluntarily, right? You'd rather go over there voluntarily than involuntarily back to hell. But when you go back into delve into what's causing the shadow, or what's causing, you can actually go back into the hell and extract basically the pot of gold from the dragon of chaos. You know, that's potentially could happen. I'm speaking metaphorically, but when, like, I planned on going to the old Madison Center place, right? I mentioned this to Callie. You said it's Oaklawn now?
Yes.
I was planning on heading over there pretty soon to and I don't know if I should. I'm a little afraid to. And Callie, you know me, there's not many things that scare me. Like you're probably surprised at this. You're like, Alex, wait, you're scared to do this kind of thing? You know, no, okay. You get it.
Well enough.
You get it.
You've had
a little afraid to do it, but I know
background.
I really believe that if I do that, then I will actually extract something out of that worth it, very worthy of my time. So
it's kind of
Mom
like
always tells me,
talking about going to Gary, Indiana. It's the same thing.
Yeah, we mentioned that before too. Just let me know if you still want to do that. Then we can just put it to the beach sometime, right? We can just go back from Gary, Indiana, and have a good time at the beach, you know, to get a mind off of it. But yeah, that'd be definitely a transformative experience. Definitely, that'd be.
Michael Jackson was born there.
Voluntarily going back to hell to extract something from it, the pot of gold from the dragon of chaos. Now there are some instances where the dragon of chaos eats you. You're not ready to go back into that yet. Then, so if you're not ready to go back, we're not going back. But
it takes a tremendous amount of growth to be ready for that. So never rush yourself.
Not a time.
Yeah, never rush.
A lot of time, and we got time coming. So yeah.
I also want to mention another thing is, you know, everyone has their own demons. Everyone has their own shadows. There are probably people out there, you know, who are going to say, like, you know, I've never experienced what you've experienced. But at the same time, you also got to remember that they are experiencing something completely different, too. Everyone has their own demons.
Everyone has their own demons.
Whenever somebody tells me, "Well, you don't understand me, man. Like you don't know what I'm going through," and then I'll say to them, "Actually, yeah, I do. You know, I do. I get what you're saying. You have your own version of it, though. It's different to mine. But everybody has their own version of that. Some people are just better at hiding it. Some people are better at hiding it, you know. And there's What's up, Callie?
So that actually brings me back to one of my closest friend here, where I'm residing. I'm not able to say any names, but anyway, he told me a bunch of times, "You don't know what I'm going through. You don't get it. You don't understand." And I had intentionally not opened up to him about things that were going on in my life because he's already struggling. But when I finally did, he was like, "Whoa, so you really actually do understand." And he said, "You know, I've always believed, you know, there are people out there who had it worse than me, and you have it worse than me." And I told him that's not how you need to look at it, you know? It's not who has it worse.
It's just a different.
Each and every struggle you go through, it affects people differently. So what may be something simple to someone could be devastating to someone else. Don't.
Right, and what could be a devastating thing may be the most valuable lesson for somebody else. Like, God, I wish that happened to me.
I mean, I feel like the world should, you know, stop measuring and understand that everyone has shadows and demons.
Mhm.
Everyone. It's not
Yeah.
about who has it less, who has it worse.
Everyone in life struggles.
And that's the beauty about time, the span of time.
It's
That
infinite.
well, the span of time is infinite, but the way that we live our lives and we respond to things, we don't know. We don't know who someone is struggling, where they're going to be 7 years from now. We don't know. So when somebody is struggling, they tell you that you don't know what I'm going through, the dichotomy of that is you really don't. You don't know the specifics of what he's going through, right? You really don't. So you can't really assume that.
The mind.
Yeah, you can't assume that. But you know what it's like to go through a trial like that. You know, you get it. You get the feeling.
Yeah.
You get the feeling, but you don't know what it is that they're going through. Yeah.
My thing is just the comparison. Like, oh, like, for example, say someone wakes
Compare
up.
yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today.
Yeah, so let's say someone wakes up with night terrors every night, screaming their head off. And let's say someone else, has depression.
Mhm.
You can't compare the two. You
Mhm.
can't say
No.
the person with night terrors is worse because you don't know what they're going through.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's you really
Different
can't. That's
struggles.
actually it's funny you mention that because I can't even logically figure that one out. Like how are they? They're not. So you can't really compare them. Both are pretty.
No.
Both we understand that both are pretty sucky, kind of a suck situation to be in. We get that. So we know what that's like, but we don't know the specifics of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the same is true when something is going right, I think too. Like, there's a lot of there, I get asked questions about
She raised her hand, Alex.
Go ahead.
yeah, 1 second, Callie. Yeah. I get asked like questions about because owning a house and gone so far up where a lot of things went right, there are some questions that I'm asked about this that I don't have the answer to because they ask me like, how did you do it? How did you do it? Like, how did you get here to where you're at, man? How is it you have a house and you got all this stuff going on? You're so lucky. And these are questions that I can't answer because I actually can't I don't know the specifics of what someone is going to be doing. But I do know this, that whatever it is, they're going to grow from it. Either way, they're either going to grow or they're going to die from it, right? You're either growing or either dying. There's really no stagnation. So I do know this. I'll bet you, because the woman that asked me the question, I'll bet you her son, 7 years from now, I might be asking him some questions on how the fuck did you do this, man? So we really don't know. All right, go ahead, Callie.
So, that's kind of like, I am going through some family related issues right now. And I'm doing things, that I see like are in my best interest, like things that would make me happy, and the things that I'm fighting for. My parents, they don't see it that way. They don't see that happiness. They don't see that fight for freedom. They don't see it the same way. So just like what you're saying is one person's happiness could be someone else's chaos.
Hmm?
You never know. You can't compare.
You
No,
can't. You gotta make that
it's
detachment.
so different one day to the next.
The only thing I think each person really should compare it to is themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday. Like, okay, Callie, how do you build these websites, Callie? I don't know. You see what I'm saying? I mean, the only thing that I've built so far was I designed a plane on a simulator. I designed an airplane one time. That was 7 years ago. But Well, then again, that was 7 years ago, right? So where I was creating stuff on a computer 7 years ago is not me today. So, Callie, like, there's something about time where you really can't make that comparison like at all. It's completely random the way that time works. Because I can't tell you how I actually designed that plane right now. Like I can't. I know the program that I used was X-Plane 9, by the way. I want to promote a little flight simulator. I think X-Plane 9 and X-Plane 10 have Plane Maker. So I might delve back into this sometime, but I just don't have time.
And I joined the Microsoft Flight Simulator Insider program.
But that's what I'm saying, though. The skill sets that I have right now that are being compared is going to be different later on. Like, so the best comparison to make is with ourselves before and after. But then we got to aim. I like to aim to satisfy my future self. Like I like to aim to satisfy. Like tonight, I'm gonna get a full night's rest. I'm gonna take a shot of melatonin and get to sleep because. Okay,
yeah.
Gotta go. All right. So Callie will be back in a few short moments. She's gonna take a short break, and we'll be back soon.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit!
Woo!
Knocked my TV off its stand.
Oops.
It's all right.
It's all right. All right. Cool.
Good.
Nice. This is going awesome so far, Kevin. I'm so glad that we're back on track with the podcast, man.
This is so much fun to talk way more.
It's great. There's something about the freedom of speech, and the art of speaking. If frees you on it, it's awesome.
Yeah. Makes me feel like a radio host.
You are. Or actually, we're doing something even better than radio. Because radio has a amount of bandwidth, got advertisements and stuff, right?
Yeah.
What's cool about YouTube is that we have no bandwidth restriction, right? None. So we could do this for a few hours without like interruptions and having to say certain things a certain way. We still got a level of freedom of speech that's different to radio. So we're doing better than radio.
Yeah. Not to cut as much out as compared to radio. Shortened songs and overlapping.
Yes, the radio evolved. It's kind of how a lizard became a T-Rex, in technologically speaking.
Yeah.
We're actually now we're becoming the T-Rex of like radio, right? We're podcasting. Yeah. It's evolved into what it is now. We got figures like Joe Rogan and Jocko Willink who created their own. This is better than radio.
Sorry, quick break.
We were just chatting.
We were just talking about how because radio, because right now Kevin's so glad that he's speaking, and he's saying this is like being a radio host, and this is better than radio. The thing is with it's radio evolved, because radio, podcast, dude, it's good to be back.
Yeah, they didn't have podcasting back in those days.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Back in the day before Netflix, we're watching VHS tapes on a ship, we're like, nobody cares, back in the day.
Another thing I want to talk about is confidence. Having confidence. So confidence says a lot. I mean, so I'm going through something right now, legally, and I have a lot of confidence that I'm going to win this battle that I'm fighting. And if I had all this self-doubt and all this negative thoughts about it, I wouldn't be anywhere close to getting this battle finished. confidence is a big deal. And it's the same thing with people seeking relationships with people. This is something me
Yeah.
and Alex were talking about the other day. That when you have someone that you're nervous to talk to, that you want to, get together with, or even just to chat or ask for their phone number, you have to have confidence. That is one of the biggest things that people look up to, is confidence.
Yep.
Yeah. I've always had trouble with that. I always shied away from everything.
A lot of people do.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, this is one of the like I am. I'll tell you this right now. If the audience doesn't know, like when it comes to like physical altercations, if somebody wants to fight me, I will admit, I am a straight up pussy. But if I can argue my way out, like if I can talk and speak, it's like, hey man, I don't want any trouble, then I can like almost like talk my way out of it. Where I know to put my hands here, like non-aggressive style. We're gonna de-escalate this now. Like, if you got a problem with me, let's talk about it.
That's what I try to say. Hang
having that
on.
level, I have that level.
First grab bones.
I have that level of confidence. But if someone's gonna charge in, first off, I'm probably gonna boot them and then boogie out of there, right? I'm not gonna stay around there for long, right? So I don't have the confidence to physically submit somebody. I can't be a cop, or a military, because I don't know the skill sets. Man, I want to. But when it comes to an argument, I'm pretty confident that not only can I win the argument, but I can actually win the war, not the battle, but the war. So like, if somebody's like if my significant other argues with me about something, one of the things that I'll do is because I have a much broader vocabulary than she does. I can articulate my speech very, very differently from different references, much more references than she can, right? So when she's arguing with me about a point that she's trying to make, I will strengthen her argument first. I'll actually articulate her argument to be vague and foggy, and then make it even stronger. And then I can piece it apart where I was like, and then we can actually get to almost talking about it in a deep conversation. We're arguing, but it's like, it's constructive. It is a deep argument, keep the conversation that we're having, but it couldn't happen because I'm not looking to win the argument. I'm looking to extract information that we can both extract information from out of this particular argument. How can we solve the problem? Instead of winning the argument, I'm trying to win what the problem is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a level of confidence that allows me to do that, where I can. So if someone's making a point, even if I'm making a point to somebody else, I'm open to what they're saying, because I assume that when I listen to a person that I'm arguing with, that they might know something that I don't.
Me too.
Kind of a powerful weapon then, because then I can receive the information and break down the detail of their argument too. So then when I eventually listen to what they said, and I speak, I got both my intel and their intel at the same time. So I could potentially wallop somebody in the argument if I wanted to, but I don't. So that's almost like the phrase of the meek shall inherit the world. I'd rather be the meek, so having the weapons, but keep them sheathed.
Me too.
We were just talking about that last night.
Oh yeah, we were, weren't we?
Don't go off half.
And Callie, you helped me solve something about that, man. Like, it was very helpful. I appreciate that.
You want to share some of it?
Help me articulate what it was, because talking about memory again. What was it? Again, part of this is because of memory loss. You definitely solved. What was it? Because
we were talking about the being able to, whether we want revenge on someone versus whether we want to let them grow and forgive them.
That's right. Yeah.
Vendettas versus forgiveness. Mercy versus no mercy.
Oh, I remember now. But no, this is when I was on my way back from the beach. Where you were talking to me about that I have a choice when I'm listening. That's what it was. When I'm talking to somebody, got it. When I'm talking to somebody that's on a different vibrational level than I am, where they're either younger or just younger, like they can't talk on my level. One of my friends has got this problem where we're not talking on the same vibrational level. He's joking around. He is just being a clown. And I'm talking like normally. I'm talking, serious, but not somebody playing with it. But and I have two choices. Either I can basically crush him, right? I control him too. Callie, what was it that you said where there might be some insecurities there where
Yes.
why that's happening? Where he's
So
trolling, he's
give a
kind of
little bit of
trolling the
background
conversation.
information. So Alex explained to me like there has been a little bit of trolling, has been joking around, and Alex has improved so much in his life that I told him that what's going on with the trolling and that stuff is that there are insecurities there. And it's not just normal insecurities that he's hiding. There are insecurities that are directly related to Alex. And I told him that, years ago, Alex used to look up at people and wonder, how are you doing this? How are you doing what I can't do? And it's the same way, just reversed with someone else looking up to Alex.
Because my conversations would be getting trolled. It'd be just trolling. It's almost like you get a YouTuber who's like, or sorry, you get like someone in a concert, you get someone who's heckling, right?
Yeah.
Just that. They're trolling it. So I get this every now and then, this guy, and I have two choices. And what the path that I choose, I kind of just breathe. I'm like,
Mhm.
and I shut up. Like I don't continue wasting my words on conversing in the same vibration level. And then sometimes I'll even come down to his vibrational level and kind of troll him back a little bit, make a little bit of comedy there, a little bit of reciprocal comedy, and then he kind of comes back up again, and then we're good. We're actually speaking on the same. But sometimes I'll troll him back with a witty comeback where he's not paying attention. I'm like, all right, I know you're not paying attention, but I don't go there. I almost like take a breath where I shut up and I process what it was that he was trolling. And I said, I kind of just, you young ass, you young buck, and I would go there, right? So I have two choices. Either I can shut up and let it hang and let him kind of, and when that happens, when I don't say anything after that, when I don't troll him, he's like, yeah. He kind of realized that was kind of young. I'm working on different vibrational levels. Anyway, but I have two choices. I can either troll him back, or and I like how Callie pointed out that comes from a little bit of insecurity, or maybe even because I used to do this to Tommy back in the day, high school level. I was such a beta boy. I'll tell you what. And I remember I used to troll people like this too. Tommy was one of them, and it's funny because looking back, I guess you could say I did it a little bit nervously, but yeah, I'd be trolling him, a little bit because there was insecurities there at the time. I did not like it, you know. I think the difference between my buddy and me from my younger years is that difference with him is that he's a lot better at hiding the insecurities. Like he can joke about it. He has that skill set of making a joke of it. I'm very impressed by that, by the way. Because it's a good speaking strategy. It builds rapport, it builds reputation. But I see through it. Like Callie was saying, I see the insecurity.
And then yesterday we were also speaking when I was at the fireworks show about we have the choice whether we want revenge on someone and whether we want harm to come their way versus,
That's what it was. About the difference between wishing harm upon somebody and being a good person yet being harmful. So go ahead, Callie. I remember this.
So I explained to you that you asked me, should I grow from this? Should I, from your viewpoint of, wishing that, certain harm come to some people that, deserve it, that have done really bad things to you. And I explained to you that the way I go about it with me, I'm the exact opposite. I'm the one that if you learn from it and you are able to move past it and never do it again, I'm gonna forgive you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do. I was raped when I was younger, and if they learn from it and never did it again, I'd forgive them.
Wow. That's powerful, Callie.
To be clear, I would forgive them. But the thing is, like, there's also a downside to both of those viewpoints. Now, your side is the lack of the compassion, and my downside is that I will be walked all over for that. So the way I look at it is, why not have both? Have those weapons ready, like you can ready to use, but decide if you want to use them or not.
Yeah. Exactly. And that goes back to the phrase, the meek shall inherit the world. And what I said to you, Callie, is because you have this confidence, but you also have the weapons to bear on completely walloping somebody and freeing yourself from what it is that you're going through. But to be a good person, you have to also be harmful. Good does not mean harmless. There's going to be people that are going to get hurt by this. Okay. So, but you're doing it for the positive benefit of you and everyone around you. So, for those that are getting hurt by it, it's like, and your growth, and those that are getting hurt by it, well, so I lost my train of thought. Sorry. It happens.
I know.
Oh, and I mentioned to you, Callie, you are going to inherit your world. You are, because you have the weapons to bear. You are using them to an extent, and you got the confidence to wield them. Your speech and you're speaking the truth, by the way, as long as it's grounded in the truth, even if it may come across as a little ungrateful at times, but it's true. If it's long as it's grounded in honesty and truth, that weapon is going to be your best ally. So to be a good person does not mean being harmless. It actually means that you have the capacity to harm, which you do, Callie. I wouldn't want to keep you isolated and cooped up for the life of me. Like, I would not stand in your way for that. If there's something that you want, now I expect you to go up and get it. Like, I don't expect somebody to do it for you. That's the difference, right? But if you want something, a goal or whatever, a job, unfortunately, what you've got going on is that they're not letting you do this because they're not letting you apply for jobs and keep them. That's kind of sad, okay? Because they're afraid of the weapons that you have to bear, right? So that's actually not good. That's kind of strange. I find that strange, because I come from a place that I've already made it with my freedom. I wouldn't stand in your way for shit. Like, if you want to go to apply for a job to work and keep it, and you work and you do something, if that's what you want, I'm not going to get in your way. But I'm also not going to. I know I won't. But I'm also not going to you to expect me to transport you or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And what's really cool about this is, Callie, that you get that. You understand the difference. And it's so cool. That's very mature of you. You have the weapons to bear, for sure. I wouldn't stand in the way of that. The only time that I would stand in the way of it is if I know if it's going to lead in a downward spiral position. So that's why. Should I mention the whole family thing, or it's like starting up your own thing, or no?
You can.
Okay. Okay. Well, okay, about you and having potential. Okay. One of the things that I mentioned about that is that I'm actually against Callie starting her family naturally. Because I see that I will stand in your way on a little bit. Because I understand, for one, genetics, I get it. Your kids are going to have a lot. I'm sorry, I don't know this, right? But I don't know for certain, but I'm pretty certain with 80% accuracy that your kids are going to have problems beyond your belief, right? Because of genetics and because of your biological makeup. And I'm not going to mention his name, but your other partner, right? So that's one of the things that I will stand in your way on a little bit. And you understand. But also, having explained my reasoning behind and my rational behind the reason why I'm standing in the way of this one, hopefully helps you. That's the only way. That's the only time that I would, I guess you can say, get in the way of somebody's freedom if I know it's going to have a lot of problems and like it's going to wind up a possible terrible outcome. I will definitely stop you and give you a whack on the back of the head and say, hey, you know what, wake up, don't do it, please, But that's pretty much it. And then again, I also know I could be wrong, but highly likely if you do this naturally, I'd recommend you either therapy or you become like a big sister or something, or what I'm saying, like therapeutic, you helping younger kids out, you're taking them places, or adoption if you can afford it, and if you and can get your life squared away, we can actually have a foundation for a family like that. And go for that, but not naturally. No, I'm against that. But there's a reason for it.
Okay, well, we've officially hit an hour.
Yeah.
Going awesome. So it's going to be back to the grind tomorrow. I got what is it today? The 5th?
Yes.
Yeah,
Monday.
the 5th.
So tomorrow, I'm going back to the fair, and after work, so I'm going to try and sandwich in tomorrow after work, going to the fair. Get the.
I remember going to the 4-H fairs.
That's where we're going.
Awesome.
Yeah, we were just there today, actually. Christine and I.
I liked the throwing the pong balls into the fishes and getting the fishes to put into a fish tank.
I remember that game.
I love doing that. And I
Yeah.
also wanted to try and win a rabbit. I always wanted a pet rabbit.
I had a pet goldfish that lasted 17 years. He outlived our cat.
I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. He outlived the cat.
Yeah, they can. You take good care of them, they'll last forever. Just like how we did with Sarah.
Yeah. My
our
middle school
dog.
teacher, on the other hand, he was a fish killer. She'd get these little colonies of little fish, goldfish, and she'd put them in the tank. I want to say a month later, they'd be gone.
Yeah. They need, if you have a school,
She's
you gotta feed them.
getting these little feeder fish to go around, and another month or two, they're gone, right?
I know about the suckers.
I told my teacher about my fish. I still had it the second year I was in middle school. And she's like, you still have that fish? What are you doing? She asked me how is this happening, right? So she was like, God, he's still alive? I was like, yeah. I finally told her what we did. We used distilled water instead of spring or tap water.
Yeah,
That's where Miss Tag was going wrong. She was using the water from the school. You know how much calcium and chlorine and shit is in that water?
Yeah, that would kill them easily. They need
Yeah.
distilled water.
Or some kind of filtration device or pH level balancer or something. Right?
Yeah, you need to always check that too.
Yeah, distilled water is a little bit more expensive, but
Yeah,
it's less work. Yeah, for sure.
yeah. I've taken care of thousands of fish.
Well, I think we're gonna go ahead and conclude this, okay?
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is Callie Kekua Weaver again. With
How do I?
with
One,
there
one
we go.
more thing.
Sorry.
I love the name, by the way. I want to do real quick the haka before we go. All right, real quick. I want to do the haka. How do you pronounce the name again? What is it?
Kekua
Callie Kekua Cox. Hey.
Weaver.
Callie Kekua Weaver. Thank you. Callie Kekua Weaver. Hey. Kamateka mateka uraka uraka mateka mateka uraka uratare te tonga tapa uru uru na itike my rakta wit.
Oh, wait.
Umpane kupana wit tara. Hey. So real quick, explain to the audience what the name the Hawaiian name means.
Kekua, derived from the Hawaiian name Kekoa, which means warrior, and also Kokua, which means to help.
Yep. And
My
so
middle
on.
name is Patrick. Like
And that
Patrick Star.
was called a haka. For those who don't know, a haka is a Maori. It's New Zealand song that New Zealand warriors will sing before a fight. Get them hyped up. The black t-shirts, New Zealand rugby team sings it before every match. So I thought I'd celebrate Callie's she's freeing herself up with this name change, you know. So I figured I'll sing the haka for you for the audience here. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Again, this is Callie Kekua Weaver at Thoughts at Midnight Talk Show.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Good night. Have it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and we shall see you in the next week.
Auf Wiedersehen.